What's happening? What's happening? Judd here with Asphalt Kingdom, and I'm here with my brother from another mother, Mr. Dom Manzo, up in Long Island, New York right now. I believe getting hit with some cold weather up there, brother.
Yep, as you can see, I'm taking off my layers here.
But
We got 9 degrees, but we're good.
yeah, and for those of you that don't know, Dom and I go way back, man. I remember the day that Dom was just starting out and going through the journey. But Dom's the owner, proud owner of local Sealcoating out of Long Island, New York, and also a new venture that's just launched. Really, really exciting. But I will, with no further ado, welcome Dom. I'm looking forward to talking to everybody actually about the journey a little bit and the movement on your equipment that you've continued to progress with, and where things look like they're going as well. So, with no further ado, man, Dom, thank you for being here, bro.
My pleasure. Let's do this, baby. Let's
Cool,
go.
cool. So go bring us back to the beginning, because we've got videos up from the very beginning on our YouTube channel. I urge everybody to go check those out. But as you go through the development of a business and growing it, scaling it, there's these different kind of checkpoints that you hit, and then you grow. Checkpoint and you grow, and it's not always easy. There's always shit that's going to hit the fan. There's always adversity and challenge. But take us back kind of to the beginning when you first got your very first rig and what that looked like, and then what your growth pattern looked like from there, from an investment perspective.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember when I was first getting into the industry, and I was a solo ship at that point, and I was just trying to figure out how I could separate myself from my future competition, rather than just operating out of pails from Home Depot and maybe rolling or brooming. Or I really didn't have too much experience at the time. So as I was researching, and obviously I came across your videos of you spraying with Pierre, and with your AK-55. And every time I say that, and every time we bring this topic up, really, it just it warms the
What a
soul.
time warp! What a
That,
time warp!
I know, and but that's where it all started. And
Yeah.
those were special times. But to get back on track, I was researching, and the most budget friendly unit at the time was the AK-55 drum spray system. And we would operate out of 55-gallon drums, but it allowed me to to take my presentation of my company and bring that to a higher level, up front, when the customer saw me roll up with a trailer and a spray system. And it was a lot more neater and organized and looked a lot more professional. So I went ahead and that's what I purchased. I purchased that 55-gallon a drum spray system. That's a start. And it was a very smart investment, because it did give me that that professional look off the bat. Even though I didn't know what I was doing, I still looked like I knew what I was doing. And everything was clean, and I had the professional equipment. And on a residential level, the customers saw that, and they gained that trust in my company and myself. Of course, we had our branding going. That was important to us as well. But when I was backed by that professional equipment to start off, it really catapulted me, my journey forward, rather than starting with the 55-gallon pails from Home Depot. So that was the first unit I stepped into, and it was it was probably one of the best investments I ever made, because number one, I invested into AK. Well, who knew, not knowing where the journey would flourished to. So not only was it a great purchase for my company or investment, but it was the best investment I made for my career, and not knowing it at the time. But it wound up turning out to be a pretty powerful investment. And then from there, I was able to convert that to a tote system, which was just a hose conversion. And now we went from being able to spray 50 gallons, 55 gallons at a time, to now 275 gallons. So I was able to move from small residential driveways, to larger residential and some smaller commercial lots. And then once I got to that level, and it happened very quickly. It was in less than, I would say, into my second season. It was time to think, where we're going to go. We had, had a couple employees working for me at the time, and, we were starting to do smaller commercial lots, and we're like, we need more material. We need a little bit, I think, yeah, we need a little more material at the time. That's what I wanted. And, we went to, and, not only that, I was getting tired of some of the minor issues that we are having with the tote itself, with settling and having to clean it and trying to get my mix right. So that's what really pushed me to the AK 230 Pro. And that was now a tank to pump system. And it really gave me the ability to keep my material mixed properly, and keep that consistency and be able to really operate much more efficient, than there are some drawbacks to having the tote system, but you have to start somewhere. But then, moving to that AK 230 Pro, that really allowed me to start, spraying a lot more consistent material and being a lot more, efficient and cleaner. And it really, it took my company right into that, small commercial lot level, and it was everything we needed. And then of course,
Matt, let me jump in. I have a video. I remember you posting a video with some drone footage of you doing a quick serve restaurant seal coating with that 230. And I remember you seal coating like some small to mid-sized commercial lots with that thing as well. And so, a lot of people out there will try to talk you down from doing something like that. But if you're you have a budget, and if you're on a budget and you're tight on capital and you can't go and invest into a extended deck trailer rigs and all that stuff, it doesn't mean that you can't continue to build your future. You know what I mean? I saw you doing stuff that was
yeah.
of significant caliber.
And believe it or not, that I still have that unit in my arsenal, because with that unit, you can spray in tight quarters with that. So you can keep the speed of spraying, keep up that speed and efficiency. But the spray pattern to that gun is a lot smaller. It's like a third of the size of one of the larger systems. So in that video, I was spraying a car wash, and in the car wash, you have, a lot of those drive up pay stations, and you have a lot of, of the vacuum ports, and it's hard to stay neat with the larger unit. But with that unit, I was able to really spray efficiently and neat and clean with that unit, and I still use it. When I have a site where there's going to be some spraying and it's some finesse there, and sometimes the larger unit, that fan pattern's too big, and I'll deploy that out and I'll use it, and I can still cut corner, cut in tight with that, and still get that consistency of spraying. So I still keep it. I still use it to this day. So it's a great little unit to have. It's a fantastic unit to have, and you can put other materials through it. Like, if we're priming a large lot, we'll put primer in there. I'll spray primer out of the thing, believe it or not. And I'm able to put 200 gallons of primer down before I seal, and I can put a crew ahead of me. And it's great for cutting in. If you're gonna have a crew ahead of you cutting in, they can use that machine as well. So it's a great machine to keep. Even when you make that investment, you're still gonna use it as long as you maintain it properly, down the road. So it's a great unit. And then obviously after that, you release the AirBoss 300, and that machine, I think, it was a game changer for AK. I know it was, and it was a game changer for the industry itself. And for my company, it was, I wouldn't have been able to grow, exponentially. How do you say that?
Exponentially, I think. Yeah, you got it.
We got it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have been able to grow at that pace from the AirBoss, from the AK 230 into that AirBoss, which now I was able to cover 100,000 square foot lots on a couple tanks, and that really allowed us to start growing at that point. And listen, that unit, it's great. It's an unbelievable unit. You can throw that unit in the back of a pickup truck, F-350. You could throw it on a trailer. It's an extremely versatile unit because you can move it, and you can, if your trailer breaks down, you can get a forklift, pick it up, throw it in the back of your truck, or put in a box truck, or rent the truck for the day, and you could still be still operating, and you're not down. That's what's great about that unit. It's super easy to use. I mean, I don't know what you want me to touch on, but I mean,
yeah, I think just generally speaking about it, like, the AirBoss launch right now, the 300 gallon manual agitation rig, is a great entry level air operated spray rig, and it's something that that will allow you to do that skid mount, do the trailer mount. But then to bump that up, we've now added hydraulic agitation as a solution as well, which means that you don't have to manually crank the tank. So if you have the capital to invest into hydraulic agitation, I strongly urge doing that over having to manually crank. And then the AirBoss too, like with the 575 and the 750 just launched as well, both truck mount, skid mount, or trailer, extended deck trailer rigs as well. So those are all on the docket and certainly accessible for everyone. So what do you think, what would be, if you were going to make your next jump, what would be the size of rig that you would jump to with where you're going? Because I know you're building a company too down in the south, another company, which is super exciting, and I know you guys are going to be attacking some big commercial work there. So what would be the next jump, the evolution from the 300? What would you go next to?
The realistic evolution is going to be the 750 AirBoss. And I say that not so much the 500 because I just need the extra 250 gallons. Because of where the Sealcoat plant is going to be located from my shop. So that was really the big decision maker between the size of the tank. I mean, the spray systems are pretty similar, if not similar. I know
Yeah.
that the pumps are the same. So pretty much everything's
Yeah.
the same besides the size of the tank. And you might, the trailer might be a little different. There might be a few amenities. I'm not sure the exact specs on each trailer. But I know that for me, the reason why I'm going to bump up to the 750 is just because of the volume of sealer I can hold, per time filling up. And so that made my decision to the 750. But if I had a wish, I'd make you build me a 2,000 gallon tank on the back of a semi truck with a spray bar, with a 20-foot spray bar. Like that's what I would ask you to build me. But obviously, that's the next level from the
Down the road.
750, and obviously, we've been talking about it and thinking about specking something out, and I know it's going to be in the works in a very near future. But
Oh yeah.
definitely, to kind of gear back a little bit back to the 300. One thing that I did leave out was the ability to add sand to your mix. When you're in that 230 Pro, it's not a sand pump. It's a centrifugal pump, right? Is that what we call it?
That's right. Yeah.
And you can't run sand through it because of the seals and the size of it. It'll blow the seals out. So that was another huge element to moving up to the 300 as well, because I couldn't spray sand. I couldn't spray sand. I could put sand mix into a tote and hand apply it, but I couldn't spray the sand, and it was efficiency wise, it was slowing us down. So that was like the main reason why I really jumped up to the AirBoss, and I pulled the trigger on that. And and being able to put sand in your mix, it's a must. You have to be able to do that. And then obviously with the new release of the automatic agitation, when you start adding sand to your mix, it gets heavy mixing that by hand. So now guys that are using heavy sand loads, when you're pushing 3 pounds per gallon, it could put some wear on your shoulder. So having that the agitation built into the system, it's going to take a lot strain off the labor or the operator of that unit. So that's a big factor. If you're thinking about, should I get the hand agitated or should I get the the agitation that's built in? That's really where the big difference. It's going to take a lot of work off of the operator, because you do have to hand agitate that, and the agitation is the paddles inside that tank. And what happens is the sand does settle. It separates from the sealer, the emulsion itself. So there is a separation process and a settling process, and those paddles are built, to re-agitate that sand back into the body of the sealer. So that does it. When you have a full load of sealer in there and you're trying to mix that sand,
Heavy.
it's a lot of work, especially if your mix is coming not pre-mixed without sand in it. Then you have to add the sand as you're mixing it. You're gonna have someone there for 30 minutes.
Cranking.
Their shoulders are gonna be they're gonna be like a linebacker from the NFL, right? But to have that, it's really a two-man job. You got to have one guy pouring the sand. You have to have one guy mixing it. it takes that element of having two guys. If you're a one-man show, or maybe you're short of labor for the day, you can have those paddles mixing, and you can be adding your sand and getting that consistent mix, and not killing yourself, trying to mix it and add at the same time. So, that would be when you're thinking about what unit to buy, that's really something to really take into consideration for sure. But yeah,
Man, that's huge advice, bro.
next step is the 750 for sure, and hopefully that's coming soon.
Moral of the story, I think, and Dom, this is all beautiful, and I hope as you're watching, as somebody watching this video right now, I hope you're taking notes on this. But there's a couple things I want to touch on. One is that the moral of the story of what Dom just said is your shoulders should be big and your biceps should be big, but if you have the finances to not have to hand crank, you should go to hydraulic agitation and build your muscles instead by counting money. That's what you should be doing.
Exactly.
Count the money, right? Count the bacon and build your muscles by doing that instead of doing stuff that's not allowing you to maximize and be efficient with your business. I think the second thing too, and this is something really important, and I know people are going to get a kick out of this. Hopefully I don't offend anyone, but you know what? It's good to be a little edgy from time to time, I think. But here's the most common answer that comes from veterans in the industry who are speaking about where you should start from a size of machine perspective. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't start small and get big, but what the veterans always say is start bigger sooner. Like if you have the capital and you're going all into this thing and you're going to go and crush it, don't start with a smaller rig, start bigger sooner. If you're scared of getting onboarded onto that machine because it's more bigger and slightly more complex, don't worry about that. We have coaches like Dom within Asphalt Kingdom that can literally teach you how to operate those systems right from even virtual or in-person in field training. So don't be scared off by the size of the rig, but please do know that the best move you could make is investing into something bigger sooner that allows you to get to where you want to go faster. Such an important thing.
Absolutely. And Judd, remember, the whole reason why you guys or everyone watching this is entering this industry is because there's so much growth that's associated with it. And you're going to grow so quick, and it's almost a guarantee that if you invest into this industry and you do it the right way and you follow the framework from AK and you get the right equipment, you're going to, your company is going to grow, and it's going to grow faster than you can ever imagine. So investing into that piece of machinery, that's actually something you can grow into, because guess what? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. That's why they're here, because they know that they're in the right industry. They're in a booming industry, and they're in a recession-proof industry. And that's what drove them here to begin with. So why not get the right piece of equipment to fuel that growth?
Couldn't agree more, man. Equipment and supplies are byproducts. The framework, resources, and community right here that you're a part of now at Asphalt Kingdom. Subscribe to our channels. Join our AK Roundtable on Wednesdays. It's all free. It's all for you to help you build a future that you desire. Dom, thank you so much for your always just providing so much value everywhere, man. Paying it forward to people. You're a true definition of being a lighthouse, man. So we appreciate it. Love you, brother. And looking forward to seeing you in Tampa and giving you a big hug here in the next 5 days, man. Likewise,
brother. It's going to be fun. We're going to put out some good material, and it's going to be great to get the team back together. And it's always a good time. And, it's the best part is to see how this community is growing. And every time we meet up, it gets bigger and bigger, and it becomes more special. And it's an honor to be a part of it.
Ditto, man. So glad to be on this journey. Go ahead, comment down below. Feel free to share this out, like it, and again, always trying to pay it forward to you so that you can spread your wings and build a future that you desire. Thanks, Dom. Appreciate you, man.
My pleasure. Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby.
If you liked this video, go ahead and check out this video, or check out this video. And don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe right here below.